Cheetahs are the world's fastest land animals, capable of reaching speeds of up to 112 kilometers per hour. They are also one of the most endangered big cats, with only about 7,000 individuals left in the wild. Most of them are found in Africa, but they once roamed across Asia as well. In fact, India was home to thousands of cheetahs until they were hunted to extinction by the mid-20th century. But now, India is trying to bring back these majestic predators to its grasslands and forests. In September 2022, 8 cheetahs from South Africa and Namibia arrived in India as part of a historic project to reintroduce the species in the country. This is the first time a large carnivore is being moved from one continent to another and being reintroduced in the wild. But why is India doing this? And what are the benefits and risks of bringing back an animal that has been absent for more than 50 years? One of the main reasons for cheetah reintroduction is to restore the ecological balance of India's grasslands and open forests. These habitats are home to many other wildlife species, such as antelopes, deer, wild boars, wolves, hyenas, and birds. But they are also under threat from human activities, such as agriculture, mining, development, and overgrazing. By introducing cheetahs as apex predators, India hopes to enhance the biodiversity and health of these ecosystems. Cheetahs can help control the population of their prey species, such as blackbucks and chinkaras, which can otherwise overgraze and degrade the vegetation. They can also create a trophic cascade effect, where their presence influences the behavior and distribution of other animals in the food chain. For example, cheetahs can reduce the predation pressure from other carnivores, such as leopards and wolves, on smaller herbivores and rodents. This can benefit plant diversity and soil fertility. Another benefit of cheetah reintroduction is to boost tourism and conservation awareness in India. Cheetahs are charismatic animals that can attract visitors and generate revenue for local communities and wildlife authorities. They can also raise public interest and support for conserving India's natural heritage and endangered species. Cheetahs can serve as flagship species for grassland conservation, which is often neglected compared to forest conservation. However, cheetah reintroduction also comes with many challenges and risks. One of them is finding suitable habitats for the animals that can provide enough space, prey, water, and security. India has identified 3 potential sites for cheetah release: Kuno National Park and Noradehi Wildlife Sanctuary in Madhya Pradesh State, and Mukundra Hills Tiger Reserve in Rajasthan State. These sites have been prepared by removing feral cattle, creating water sources, restoring vegetation, and monitoring prey density. But some experts have questioned whether these sites are large enough and connected enough to support a viable population of cheetahs in the long term. Cheetahs need vast areas to roam and hunt, ranging from 800 to 1,500 square kilometers per individual. They also need corridors to disperse and avoid inbreeding. India's landscapes are highly fragmented by human settlements, roads, railways, fences, and other barriers that can limit the movement and survival of cheetahs. Another risk of cheetah reintroduction is the potential conflict with humans and livestock. Cheetahs may come into contact with people living near or inside their habitats, especially pastoralists who graze their cattle on grasslands. Cheetahs may prey on domestic animals or be perceived as a threat by farmers. This can lead to retaliation killings or poaching of cheetahs by locals who may not see any benefit from their presence. To prevent or reduce human-cheetah conflicts, India needs to implement effective measures such as compensation schemes for livestock losses, awareness campaigns for coexistence strategies, community participation in conservation efforts, and law enforcement against illegal activities. A third risk of cheetah reintroduction is the genetic suitability of the animals being used. The cheetahs that have been brought to India are African cheetahs from South Africa and Namibia. They are genetically different from the Asiatic cheetahs that used to live in India and are now critically endangered in Iran. Some experts have argued that using African cheetahs instead of Asiatic cheetahs is not ecologically or ethically sound. They claim that African cheetahs may not adapt well to Indian conditions or may introduce diseases or parasites that could harm native wildlife. They also say that using African cheetahs violates the international guidelines for reintroduction that require using animals from the same subspecies or geographic origin as possible. However, other experts have defended the use of African cheetahs as a pragmatic solution given the scarcity of Asiatic cheetahs and the urgency of saving the species from extinction. They point out that African and Asiatic cheetahs are not very different genetically or morphologically and that they can interbreed successfully. They also argue that African cheetahs have a wider genetic diversity than Asiatic cheetahs, which could help them cope with environmental changes. In conclusion, cheetah reintroduction in India is a bold and ambitious project that aims to restore a lost species and its role in the ecosystem. It has many potential benefits for biodiversity conservation, tourism development, and environmental education. But it also faces many challenges and risks that need to be carefully addressed and monitored. The success or failure of this project will depend on the cooperation and commitment of all stakeholders involved.